the game, cause see the boxing voice.
Welcome back, gang, for the first time and hopefully many more to come. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and click on the notifications right here, this little bell, so you can get those emails every time we go live.
So we have no decision. Actually, I got a better one.
What?
You were in Las Vegas for the Bruno Pacquiao, right?
Yeah, of course, I worked it.
Okay, perfect. Dillian Whyte was there. What the heck is going on?
Well, you know, I think Dillian's weighing out his options to see where you know, what big fight he can land. I think with the rumors being AJ is going to fight Jarrell Miller, you know, it kind of leaves Dillian on the outside. Dillian Whyte has not gotten a title shot, which is, to me, unjust. You know, I think Dillian Whyte is one of the best heavyweights in the world, and I think he deserves to fight for a world championship. And I do think that he deserves a world championship shot, and I think maybe he's trying to see, you know, where he fits in. You got to get in where you fit in. AJ's a major star. AJ's a major star, but you know, AJ looks like he's going the Jarrell Miller route. If I'm Dillian Whyte and I'm hearing that AJ is going to go the Jarrell Miller route, I'm going to start, you know, trying to see where I can fit in. You know what I'm saying? It's only natural. You know, this is also a business and not just a sport.
I wish Big Baby were here to see you two go at it, because he says he's the most deserving. He says if you think back to the current heavyweight champions right now, no one has had a tougher route to a world title than Big Baby Jarrell Miller.
I think Big Baby deserves a title shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that he doesn't. He's undefeated. You know what I'm saying? And he's had some good wins, and he's climbed the ladder the way it should be climbed. But I also think Dillian, you know, is the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And Dillian has only lost to AJ on the way up in a fight where it was competitive at the point in time he got stopped. You know, so I mean, it's a tough decision. I mean, I don't think it's a travesty to give either guy a title shot, to be honest. But whoever doesn't get the title shot, you know, is obviously right to be looking at options for big fights. You know what I'm saying? So if it's going to be Jarrell getting the title shot, then obviously Dillian is looking, and you know, will probably have his ears open and eyes open to what other shots what big shots present themselves for himself.
I know you say you don't get involved in the business decisions, but were you impressed to hear that Dillian manages himself and he wasn't tied to Matchroom, and last minute he could just cross the street? Everyone thought he belonged to Eddie, and he just
well, you know, they.
We had his brother on the show, and he said he manages himself. It's a fight-by-fight deal with it.
Yeah, you know, that's, you know, that puts him in a power position. You know, and you know, we saw that power position played out when, you know, they allowed Showtime to bid on his last fight, and Showtime won the bid. You know, listen, I think your window is small in this business, you know, so you try to make the strongest decisions for your career, whatever they are, you know, and I think Dillian has had a very successful career thus far, but I think he's obviously looking for a shot at the heavyweight title, as anybody in his position would, so he's going to be searching that out however way comes to him.
How could you hypothetically make sense of this for a UK fan that says, but Paulie, why would Dillian go to Al Haymon when he's a UK fighter? He fights in the UK, he does pay-per-view in the UK, his last 3 have been pay-per-view. What could Al offer him in the US?
Well, if AJ Wilder continually doesn't get made, Al may be able to offer him a shot at the heavyweight title against Deontay Wilder, you know?
In the US or in the UK?
Yeah.
By TV with Al Haymon now.
Yeah, could be either or. You know, I think Deontay is the bigger name in that, so you know it would probably be in the U.S. But I don't think Dillian is against fighting in the U.S. either. You know, I think Dillian is probably very curious about being able to get a big fight in the U.S. I think every foreign fighter wants to be able to have a big fight in the U.S. and I think Dillian might interest him as well. You know, we'll see. I mean, it's a good position Dillian's in if he's a free agent that way. You know what I'm saying? And so we'll see how it goes. You know, I think Dillian sees both sides of the pendulum. You know, if you're with Matchroom, you know they have a big star and Anthony Joshua. You may get the Joshua fight, but if you don't, you know, you're kind of stuck playing second fiddle to Anthony Joshua. And if you come to Haymon, you know, Joe Joyce went to Haymon. He's a British fighter. And it's probably because he doesn't want to be in the shadow of Anthony Joshua. It's a big shadow. AJ is a mega star, you know. So I think there's points for both sides as far as Dillian is concerned. It's just who's going to step up to the plate and give Dillian what he wants. You know, I think he's earned the right to want to be able to want what he wants.
So you brought up Joe Joyce, perfect segue. He just officially made his fight with Bermane Stiverne, but Stiverne is coming off of the Wilder knockout. He hasn't fought since then. Does he have anything left?
We'll find out. I mean, Joe Joyce only has less than 10 pro fights, right? So, I mean, it's not like you can't criticize Joe Joyce for taking on the Bermane Stiverne with less than 10 pro fights, you know?
No, I'm not.
So I don't know. Regardless of what regardless of what which version of Bermain shows up, you know, it's a situation where it's still Bermain Stavern, and George Joyce is fighting him with less than 10 pro fights. So it's still a good name to try to fight, and we'll see. It's still dangerous because if Bermain's motivated, you know, it could be a tough situation. George Joyce has had a tough time trying to get rounds, and Bermain is usually very durable, aside from that Wilder rematch. So we'll see.
What did you think of that Joe Hanks performance? I know it was only one round, but I know I've seen Joe Hanks put a couple hands on Joe Joyce.
Yeah, but it was too soon. You know, ultimately, the hands you put on the guy has to have some effect, or you have to work accordingly to the non-damaging effect you're having on your opponent, and you know, sit back, and you can't get yourself caught. If you're not having a lot of effect on your guy, you know, you want to sit back off the jab, then try to control the distance instead of being in that pocket to get clipped by the bigger puncher. You know, I don't think Joe Hanks made the right decision. And that's the thing about Joe Joyce. You know, you might be able to put hands on him, but do you know how to navigate your way around the ring with him? You know, because even if you put hands on him, you got to navigate your way around the ring to where he's not putting the dynamite on your chin. So it's still a complicated situation to fight Joyce.
I was watching Vander Holyfield versus not Riddick Bowe, Jesus, George Foreman. Obviously, Holyfield being a cruiserweight moving up to heavyweight. I don't really want to segue into Usyk because they're totally different, but what sort of chance do you give Usyk in that heavyweight division? Because, man, that fight with Foreman.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
Is there another guy like Evander?
I don't know, but Usyk is a bigger guy than Evander. You know, Usyk is bigger physically than Evander. You know, Usyk is about 6'3". If you stood next to Usyk, yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't know if style. Yeah, Evander was a great. I mean, Evander's a great. You can't complain about Evander, but I think Usyk is also bigger than Holyfield was at cruiserweight physically. So I don't know what kind of he'll fill into the heavyweight division. We'll see. We'll find out. But I think Usyk's own technique will work for him, whatever that technique is. You know, I don't think it's going to be. It's not the Evander Holyfield technique, but you know, if he can make it work for him a little bit at the heavyweight division, I think he'll have some success as well.
You see him winning a world title with the current state of the division?
I don't know. I want to see him against the smaller heavyweights first, maybe like Chisora or a Carlos Takam to open things up, see how he looks against those guys, see if he can beat those guys, and if he does, how he looks beating them, and then go from there.
Tell me you're disappointed in Luis Ortiz. Unfortunately, as a fight fan, I feel disappointed. This is the first time I think we're ever, if not ever, have seen the top 10 all available in the heavyweight division. Every single person is available. So Luis being a top 5, who's he? I don't even know who he's fighting.
Was that his fault that none of them want to fight him though? Yeah.
Do they really not at this point? Everyone's available. We got Dillian Whyte crossing the street to see what's cooking.
Nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz, bro. You know, nobody wants to fight Luis Ortiz.
He's with Al Haymon. No one wanted to fight Laura. He got the fight. No one wanted to fight Trout. He got the fight. I mean, what is that?
You can't put a gun. You know, Wilder's negotiating with Fury, so he's not going to make the Ortiz fight. You know, we going to put a gun to people's heads? You can't put a gun to people's heads. You know, like. You know, they don't.
Joe Joyce called him out on the undercard in the weigh-in.
Yeah, but people, I think it's too much risk, little reward for Ortiz to fight Joe Joyce right now. I think Joe Joyce is right.
Ortiz.
Yeah, you know, Joe Joyce brings some risk to the table, but you know, if you beat Joe Joyce,
but not enough reward.
Yeah, you bring Joe Joyce, you beat a guy with less than 10 fights. You know, they're not. So you know.
Even if it was in the UK.
Yeah, even in the UK. I mean, recognition is what you're after. You know, so I think Joe Joyce is right to want to fight him. Of course, you know, it shows how hungry he is. But Ortiz is in a tough situation. He's not a guy that people want to see, like as far as being the opponent across the ring. You know, so you know, right now he's just got to stay busy. If you can't get the big opponents, you got to stay busy. And Ortiz wants to keep busy.
Yeah, I can't even remember. I knew who he was fighting, but it's escaping me.
Yeah, Hammer, right? Some guy Hammer.
Christian Hammer. That's right. That's right. Now I'm hoping that this is secretly like a Ward Kovalev deal, where Ward got Brand, then he got Barrera, then he got Kovalev.
Yeah.
Is this maybe for Luis Ortiz that?
I don't know. Maybe Ortiz will lie in the wings, keep busy until these things open up for him, and then maybe jump in. Yeah, it's possible. We'll see.
He's getting old.
Yeah, we all get old every day, right? So, I mean, but if he's got no choice, what can you do? You know.
And these in between fights, should he be
like,
more?
You know,
more.
What is he gonna do?
Entertaining?
How much more entertaining can he be? Knocks everybody out. You know how much more?
Taking some of these guys a lot of rounds.
Yeah, but some of them, some of them also want to survive. You know what I'm saying? And also Kaufman's a sturdy guy. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you know Kaufman's not the kind of guy you're just gonna go up to and just knock him out like that. You know? So he dropped him. You know. There's my boy Chris Colbert.
Andy Ruiz signed to Al Haymon. He actually said he wants something like a Kaufman. He told me his 2019 wish list would be Kaufman.
You know, yeah, and who?
Gerald Washington, then Areola at the end of the year for Andy Ruiz. That's
I want to see Andy Ruiz fight Adam Kornacki.
Wow, that's too soon.
But I like that fight because they're not big heavyweights. They both heavyweights that throw a lot of punches. You know.
Konaki spar with the Chinese guy,
yeah,
and the big baby. He can hold his own. Bro.
Yeah. And Andy's a big name fighter too. You know, like Adam's always been an undersized heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? But he just has a lot of extra weight on him. You know, but I wouldn't mind seeing that. You know, obviously Andy Ruiz is entertaining. You know, him against anybody's fun, and Konaki against anybody's fun. I just think you match up the two styles, it could be a fun fight.
Yeah, well,
just my personal as a fan.
Physically change his body for himself. He wants to look more like a fighter, he said. Do you think that's the right route for him since for so many years he's been able to really flow around the ring like he isn't as heavy or he moves like he doesn't look like he can move that way.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he knows best for his body. You know, it's hard to make a judgment call if you're not in the guy's body. He knows how he feels, you know. It's nice to be young and, you know, feel like you're able to throw punches despite his body. I don't know if he gets makes his body look like a fighter, how that affects his style or whatnot. I don't know, you know, but he's had good success thus far, and maybe he wants to get better. We'll see.
Is it safe to say the heavyweight division is back?
It's fun. It's fun to watch. You know, we'll see. We'll see how much more fun it is this year. It was fun in 2018, I think, and fun in 2017. You know, we'll see how much of it stays fun. Hopefully.
You're a betting man, so if you had to bet, is AJ Miller, not AJ White?
I mean, from what, my guess is just as good as anybody else's, but from the rumors that I hear, yeah, AJ Miller, you know, this looks like it's going to be, you know, we'll see.
What sort of shot you giving Miller? Because his trainer, Aliano Sosa, who I'm sure you you can't knock out Big Baby.
Yeah, he outworks you. Yeah, I think AJ brings a certain puzzle to the table. The only risk for Jarrell brings a certain puzzle to the table for AJ, but there's one big risk. I've seen Joshua's last bunch of fights up close. I've worked a bunch of them. You know, I've been so up close to them. He has a very, very sneaky short uppercut, and Jarrell spends a lot of time on the inside. I mean, AJ has a vicious uppercut, and it's so short, and it's disguised very well. It might be his best punch out of anything, not because of the power, because obviously it's hard with any punch, but also because it's so disguised and it's so sneaky, and it just sneaks up on you. And Jarrell spending so much time inside the pocket, it means he's gonna be in range of that uppercut for a big portion of all the rounds. And Jarrell does outwork you, and Jarrell puts the heat on you, and Jarrell makes you feel it, but AJ has one punch ending power with that uppercut. And so to me, that's the paradox of this fight. That's kind of, you know, that kind of, you center your view of this fight around that, and then obviously add little details in there as well into the recipe. Just like I was talking about Pacquiao and Broner. You know, it's going to be, you know, Pacquiao's legs, are they there? To Broner's, if he's going to be active or not. And that's what the fight kind of came down to, was Broner not active enough. And for me, if I had to tell you what to look for in an AJ versus Miller fight, it's AJ putting that heat on and fatiguing Joshua, but Joshua's no dummy technically, and he has a sneaky uppercut. So those are the two battles you're seeing, one bringing against the other. So we'll see.
Any sons?
Sons? Like
any boys?
Any boys? I have sponsors. I sponsor a couple of kids, you know, from Italy. No children, no.
Because every time I talk to you, I always tell you, are you going to train somebody, bro? I feel like you're like, just talking to you can feel the knowledge. You need to teach somebody, man.
Yeah, I don't have time because trainers. I
mean, you're young still.
Trainers. One thing about trainers is, you know, people think it's just about knowledge. It's also about dedication and time. And I don't have the dedication and time. I'm working a little bit with James DeGale as assisting his trainer, Jim McDonald. You know, I'll be back in. I helped out in the Truax camp a little bit. And, you know, I didn't have time in the last camp he was in. But I was in Miami with James in December with his trainer, Jim, you know. And then I'm going back to England after the Maris and Gervonta Davis fight to finish camp with James as well. You know, Jim obviously holds the reins, but I try to just give my 2 cents in there and try to help Jim as best way I can in helping James out. And I'll probably be in the corner as well for that fight with him and Eubank.
That's cool, man. Yeah, man. I would like to see you take more of an advisory role.
Yeah, it's hard to be a head trainer. You know, as interesting as it is at times when I think about it, you need a lot of dedication. You have to be in the gym every single day. You know, you can't. Otherwise, it's not fair to the fighter. You know, I see some of these trainers, these big name trainers. They don't spend a lot of time with their fighters. These fighters hire these big name trainers, and it's like these guys just show up whenever. And I don't think that's fair. You know, I think that's an injustice, and you're doing a disservice to the fighter. You know.
Like I said, you're still young.
So we'll see. But my schedule's kind of full right now, and I enjoy what I do. But you know, my advice, you know, is my advice. You know.
All right, well, Paulie, man, thank you so much. Been a pleasure.
Right.
Family, yes, YouTube has been cutting funding to their channels as of late, and with net neutrality going through its process, the internet is changing. If you want to keep your favorite channel intact, coming up with tons of content, and plus get hours and hours of extra content, head over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to become a member of the TBV family and help support the channel. Peace.